Good afternoon. We are here in Boksburg today at the Birchwood Hotel, and it is the official IPM conference today. And we had the opportunity to sit down with the interim CEO of the Institute of People Management, IPM, here at the event, Mr. Sabelo Mieni. It's so lovely to meet you, Sabelo.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us a little bit about IPM? I'm really interested to hear what you guys do.
Okay. No, I think first of all, thank you for the opportunity to be here. And thank you for visiting us. We are having our HR Leadership Conference, which we will be running it every year. This is our first one, where really we want to set the tone for our industry, for our profession, in terms of the key priority areas that HR professionals should look out for and how to then go about implementing some of the changes or leveraging on some of the opportunities that exist within a year. So IPM is a professional membership body. We are a non-statutory organization, but we are recognized by SAQA. So if you understand the education landscape, you would have education institutions, academic institutions, universities, and then you have professional bodies who are really at the center of professionalizing and advancing development in specific sectors. So ours is in the space of HR and people management. We have different designations, as you would know that in HR, for example, you have your CHRO down to your administrator. These designations, they really affirm your level of expertise across the different levels of HR and people management. So what we really do is professional development, making sure that our members have got access to the latest thinking in terms of research information. The world is changing, is being disrupted on a daily basis. Just yesterday it was COVID. Now we're talking tariffs the other day. Now we're talking actual wars. So we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And all of that has a huge impact on people and organizations. So we're at the center of making sure that we support our members in terms of the changes, even in terms of legislation. You know now that the labor law has changed. The entire legislation, it has been amended. So our job then is to make sure that our members are fully aware of that and then develop them and then make sure that they implement the changes. But I think beyond our members, we advocate for changes within the space. We talk of employment equity nowadays. So we are the voice. We sit in, we call it the Human Resource Development Council. We're a member there, which is the body that actually develops the human development strategy for the country. You know, when you look at the NPD Vision 2030, there's the human development aspect to it. The IPM sits there and assists government in terms of policies that will advance human development.
Can you share with us how you see the HR landscape changing and the challenges that HR professionals are facing today?
I think if you look at maybe the last 3 to 5 years, or maybe even before then, there was always a drive to say HR must stop being traditional administrative, but to be a strategic advisor for organizations.
100%.
So moving not only just from admin to strategy, but also to board and operate at that level. So we've seen that shift, and that shift alone, it does then require that HR professionals, they actually develop themselves.
Yes.
I always talk about commercial acumen for HR professionals to say, how do you make sure that you understand the business, you understand the industry that you are in, so that you are able then to have conversations with other parties to facilitate and make sure that they partner with managers in terms of the development that is required. And I think we're speaking about upskilling, skilling, reskilling of employees because the world of work has changed. If we talk about the future of work, we know that technology plays a huge role. How then are we making sure that we prepare our employees to be future ready? But it begins with us as HR professionals. If we do not understand that space, then we are not going to be able to do that. But obviously there are challenges with some organizations where you know HR is still seen as an administrative function than a strategic enabler advisor, and I think that needs to stop. If you look at South Africa, we have a huge role to play as HR professionals. One of the things that I keep on saying is that the legislation has changed. Whether you're looking at basic conditions of employment, you're looking at the labor relations, and then you're looking at the employment equity. There are a lot of changes that have taken place there. So therefore, it means the role of HR is also being advocates for these changes within the organizations, working with
100%.
people who are managing, who are managers, and say,
Compliance.
how then
Correct.
do we make sure that we build a resilient workforce that understands these things, but creating an environment that will allow our employees to thrive. And IPM is at the center of that, making sure that we assist organizations understand these changes and then implement them accordingly. I think with all the initiatives that we do as HR professionals, we need to go beyond implementing to measuring the impact of those. To say what has been the impact so that our voice continues to be strong in the boardroom.
So the ROI.
Yeah, the ROI, and we keep on talking about it.
Yes.
And if really as an HR professional you do not even know how to do that, then come to IPM. We'll help you to say this is how you quantify your initiatives so that HR actually continues staying there on the table in the boardroom. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about IPM, your office. Do you have different divisions that are looking after different things for your members?
So we have an office. The office obviously will have the CEO, the executive, and we've got operational staff. Our head offices are based in Lovo, Johannesburg. But in terms of the structure, then how we operate is that we've got different branches. We have a branch in Durban, we have a branch in Cape Town, we have a branch in Johannesburg and Pretoria. And really the work of the branches is to make sure that they advance the work of the IPM through running events that are related to people management. Because we're a membership body, the structure then would have that membership department that will be responsible for making sure that we drive membership. Beyond driving membership, we make sure that we curate some benefits for our members. When they come to us and say, I want to be a member, we need to be able to say, these are the benefits, this is how we support you. But part of that, because we are a SACCO-recognized organization, we have the designations. So that's an important element of the structure in the sense that when you join us as a member, you do not automatically get the designation. There's a process, there's a designation committee that will look at your documents that you've submitted in the form of a CV to really say, we think this is the professional designation that suits you based on your skills, education, and competency. But also going beyond that, we look at the gaps. That's where the professional development aspect comes in. You are a member, we see that you've done this kind of development, but to be able to fully operate at this level, these are the competencies and there are gaps there, and then we cover those through the events that you run and the training and development. And obviously you've got your finance and etc. But I think the biggest department, it will be that of membership, designation, and then the events one, the development one, through the IPM Academy.
Okay. So then obviously your membership is based on individuals rather than companies, and it obviously spans across all industries. Am I correct? Or do you focus on specific industries?
So we've got broadly two types of membership or categories. We've got your individual membership and then corporate. So
you do have both.
Yeah. So an individual, it could be someone who says, I want to be affiliated, be a member of IPM. They are able to do so and join us. But also we have corporate who are saying, no, we are going to register our organization to be a member of IPM because beyond the activities, the events that IPM has organized, maybe we want specific solutions, bespoke solutions created and developed, co-created with us. And then we have other membership categories that are not really linked to designation. For example, affiliate membership for SMEs. In the space of HR broadly, we deliver some of the work through partners. People who are in talent. Let's say you are running a talent consulting firm, then you will work with you as IPM to be able to deliver some of the work to all for our members.
Yes.
So then they become members and we recognize them. But also it helps them to go and bid for work. If there's a big organization that says, we want a company in HR that can come and consult, they can go there and say, we are a member of IPM. And that business would say, we know IPM, they represent professional development in the space. So therefore, it means you are credible. So our membership is like that in terms of the individuals and the companies.
Okay.
And we do cut across. Every organization has got an HR,
sectors.
every organization has got a
True.
manager. I think also it's important to emphasize the point that we go beyond HR. I think there are other professional bodies who are HR specific.
Yes.
We are people management.
There's
If you
a
are a
difference.
manager in marketing and engineering and you are responsible for people, you become the member of IPM.
Okay.
And then you know that HR then is involved with facilitating the process. We call
Okay.
it business partnering nowadays.
Okay. Well, that's a very big difference, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to note. Very different. There's a lot of similarities between CompTIA and IPM, by the way. We also obviously a body and we focus on skills development. And because IT spans across, all industries,
Yeah.
we help HR professionals to use our certifications to plan skills interventions with their staff.
Yeah.
And we do it mostly through our training provider network.
Okay.
So I want to come back to the professional development side. So do you have like a college or a side where you do actual training, or do you give advice to people as to where to go?
Okay, so as a professional body, let me just also just say that by law, we are not supposed to be a training company.
Okay.
So there are two ways. So it's either we accredit other companies, we call them CPD
that's what we do, yes.
providers, we accredit them, they come to us and say, we want to run these courses, and then we look at what they've submitted, and if we agree that it's aligned or linked and advancing the industry, then we certify them for that.
Okay.
But as a professional body, we run events. We run these events ourselves. In most cases, we run them with partners. As you can see, this conference, for example, if you were to look at our speakers, they come from different industries, or they come from different companies. Some are consulting, some are working in organizations to come and share best practice with us. But the Academy of IPM is the one then that is going through the accreditation process, making sure that they go and register courses that are. Now we've moved away from the CETAs to the QCTO.
Yes.
We'll be going through that process of having programs that are registered with us. But as a professional body, we run events, workshops, webinars for our members, and we do this online, or face-to-face.
So it's a
For
whole
example, this one
variety.
is face-to-face. The next time it could be back at Ilovo, or it could be in Cape Town, really across the country.
I love that. So it's about attending events, learning at those events. Do you have like a credit or a point system for members?
Oh yeah, I think that's a very good question.
Okay.
Because we're a professional body responsible for continuous professional development, we have something called CPD.
Okay.
So all our events are CPD accredited, which then helps organizations to be able to claim the spend that they incur when they are sending their members to attend our events, which helps in terms of their BE scorecard, in particular the skills development element. I think at the core of professional bodies is, when we talk about it's a skills-based economy now versus, qualifications.
Yes.
At the core of professionalization is one, understanding the industry in terms of the changes, the disruptions, the skills that are required, and then package those and then make sure that we develop our members accordingly. And it's continuous. And it's
lifelong learning.
Yeah, so every year you'll find that maybe last year we're running something on, let's say, DIB, because maybe it was a hot issue at the time. So there is that element also. Let's look at what's happening in our industry, in our country, globally. And then we bring that and we make sure that we develop our members and the industry accordingly. But also, what are the scarce and critical skills that are needed in our profession? For example, if you look at HR, now we talk of technology, in particular artificial intelligence. Then as HR professionals, how do we make sure that we develop ourselves but also because we are facilitators of skills within organizations. How then do we make sure that our organizations are actually ready and they implement some of these trainings? For example, you're speaking about CompTIA. If I look at CompTIA, you play in that space of discussing critical skills in terms of the programs that you have in IT, whether it's cybersecurity, data science, and these are real skills that are needed. So based on the level of expertise and research that you've done, then IPM then it comes in and say these are some of the programs that you can do as an HR professional. It does not mean it's for IT people.
No.
It also means you as a manager of people, you need these skills so that you can thrive in this environment.
Absolutely. So I want to divert a little bit, and I'm quite sure you have something in place already. We have a variety of people that we work with, or sectors, you want to call it. So we do have corporates, and we deal with HR people. We have our partners who deliver the training. And then we have the area where my passion lies, and that's the individuals that are coming from school, university, and they much more from school. I lean much more towards individuals who don't have the opportunity to go and study, and how do we help them to get a job at the end of the day. So that's my passion. Do you, as IPM, have any projects where you help young people get into professions, be it, people management or whatever? Do you have any projects that you run?
Yeah, we do actually.
I knew it.
We have a student chapter
where
we work with
universities,
get graduates, develop them, and then help them to transition really from university to corporate.
Fantastic.
Where we do work readiness or preparation programs for those. Currently, we're just onboarding about 20, really helping them understand the space and how it has changed. But also, I think a bigger part of it is giving them the opportunity to work for different companies. Because we're a membership body,
so
we've got the corporate members. It's easy for us to then initiate youth employability programs where we take in young people, train them and prepare them for the workplace, and then place them with our corporate partners or companies that are willing to take on young people.
Experience.
Yeah, for workplace experience. So we do that. It's such an important aspect of IPM. Linked to that, we do coaching and mentorship because, young people can finish school and they have this idea of the world and they get here. It's really difficult to adapt.
It's all about how much money am I going to make? Am I going to have a nice car? Those are the important questions to them.
Yeah. And by the way, that's an area that I'm passionate about as well.
Good.
Youth development. Making sure that we create opportunities for young people through appropriate upskilling of young people, getting them certified with these international certifications such as CompTIA, but also other certifications that are available in the market, and making sure that we place them in organizations and giving them access to job opportunities and seeing them actually either being employed or being entrepreneurs. I think in the ICT space, you can take in someone who I'm a software developer, but if they've the aptitude to be entrepreneurs, they can say, I can actually start developing software for you, for that company. And now all of a sudden, you don't look at employment only, but you look at job creation and business or entrepreneurship development.
Exactly. I recently spoke to Rodney de Koch, and he specifically focused on that area to help young people change from saying, are you looking for a job, or am I going to create my own company and be an employer? And it's amazing the things that he does. And also Tiani from Geek Culture.
Yeah, I know.
You know Tiani? Everybody knows Tiani. The individuals that watch our videos, they're always very interested to know the individuals that I'm talking to, how did they get into their career? Where did they start? And what did you learn along the way that you can share with them? Mistakes you've made, good things you've done. Please tell us about.
Oh, you'll get me started.
About Sabelo. Tell us about Sabelo.
Where do I start really in terms of... By the way, I'm very passionate about helping employees who are transitioning from corporate to entrepreneurship.
Oh, great.
Because I'm a good example of that. But
indeed,
I think and also, by the way, I see myself as an entrepreneur. You'll see that from a background point of view, I'm not an HR professional.
Okay.
But I'm an entrepreneur. And
I
when you're
saw
an
that, yes.
entrepreneur running businesses, then you deal with people.
And that's the kind of people we want young people to look up to and emulate.
Yeah, but I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, and I think I take that from my
Fantastic.
grandmother, who was a tobacco farmer.
Wow.
And my grandfather was a community leader. So bringing those two, I think it's such a nice blend, because I grew up, they raised us, they raised me
Okay.
and my other siblings. But I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship. Even when I was at university, I was selling at university, and I can tell you I was selling condoms at the time because I was solving a problem. And I partnered with a company called PSI, Population Service International.
Okay.
And this was University of Swaziland, by the way.
Incredible.
You'd remember that if you look at 20 years back, the scourge of HIV, especially among universities, was high.
Yes.
And I saw an opportunity, worked with them, went through some training, and then I started selling. But while I was doing that, I started entering business plan competitions with one of my friends from Tanzania, and we built this web solutions company where we wanted to build websites for small businesses while we were still at university. Fantastic. And I was doing a degree in environmental science, geography, and I was like, my goodness, what am I doing here? I think I like business.
Yes, and you changed.
Yeah, then I was part of a boot camp, an entrepreneurship boot camp. At the time, it was called TechnoSafe, Believe, Begin, Become. And it was through that process then that I got to learn about finance, sales, and just running a business.
Yes.
And yeah, we tried this thing of entering that competition, and actually we're part of the top 20. We got some funding to start the business. But because we're still young, you finish university, at home you've got your own challenges. You need to go and work.
Yeah.
Then I decided, let me just go to corporate and work, and I started my career. Yeah, I started my career. I did a whole lot of things before I actually started my corporate career. I've done a stint in radio. I've done a stint working for my uncle in some construction, a company. And yeah, then I got into an internship program through a business school that's called Regenesis Business School. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because it is one of our partners at IPM. They sponsor us in terms of their prices, but also I think they modeled me into the person that I'm sort of even in my entrepreneurial spirit. So I started working there, and then I think it was clear for me that I'm getting business experience. One day I'll leave and start my own business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, then I've been in the education industry, working for the different business schools, jumping from one business school to the next. And when I was working for Gibbs, I then decided, let me get a mentor. And my mentor, Howard Fox, then said to me, if you want to start your own business, forget about these big business schools. Go and work for a small company so that you can understand what it actually means to run a business.
Very true.
And yeah, then I did that.
That's 100% correct.
Yeah, I went and I worked for a training company that I can tell you now, it gave me everything in terms of the experience. Earlier on, we were speaking about the commercial acumen that sometimes as HR professionals we lack, or people in general, we lack that aspect. And I think I got to learn that from there.
Yes.
And it didn't help that my boss is a CA by profession.
Oh, no.
So you can imagine it was always a numbers game.
Those are people I always look up to. I don't know what they get taught at university when they
very risk averse.
But wow.
And getting someone like me who's a creative. So it was a nice balance. So I learned a lot from that. And I then decided 2018 to venture into my own business in skills development. That's why I know about CompTIA. So I've been running that organization for the past 8 years. But very passionate about building other businesses in the space that I'm in. If I look at my businesses in skills development, but I've helped others start their own businesses. So it tells you about my passion for SME development as well, because I just believe that SMEs, they power the economy. We create more job opportunities and employment opportunities for people, and then we grow the economy.
Absolutely.
This is just like the 1% version.
Like a little summary there. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So, my last question, what advice do you have for young people? Where should they start? What should they do? What advice, from your experience now, if they want to start their own business, what would your advice be to them?
I think young people are blessed that the world that we live in is full of opportunities
Yes.
that have been brought by technology.
Absolutely.
Everyone has got a smartphone now. I can tell you now that my 14-year-old son is into doing stuff. Yesterday he was asking me, can you look at this? I've designed this thing. I'm like, okay, what is this? You know, it's a system that he is wanting to sell. And he hasn't asked me for pocket money for the past 6 months, and I'm worried about that. So it means he's getting money from somewhere. I'm just talking about a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
but it's because there is an opportunity that has been presented to him that we did not have.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing.
The
And then-
entrepreneurial spirit, yeah.
And then the second thing is really young people need to be curious.
Yes.
They need to go and look for opportunities. Actually, the opportunities are there. But if you are curious enough, you'll be able to say, how do I explore these opportunities, exploit them, and do something that I like, and do it early. And if you are passionate about something, try and develop yourself and understand how that industry operates, what are the opportunities, what kind of development do you need as a young person, and the support. And you'll be surprised, there's quite a lot of things, a lot of support in the industry. If you look at maybe some of the successful entrepreneurs, you can see those guys matric, they didn't even go to university, but they were passionate.
Yes.
So do something that you're passionate about, not do something just because someone is doing it or someone has told you to
Or
do
it pays
it.
well.
I always make the example that when I started university, I was told, no, go and do LLB law. I did it for 2 weeks and I realized, no, this is not me. I quickly switched and did my what I loved. So yeah, I think young people must be curious. They must continue learning, because if you do not learn, then it means you'll be left behind.
Yes.
It saddens me to see a lot of young people sitting at home and say there are no job opportunities when technology is actually presented. I'm not saying all of them can go into that space, but if you keep a curious mind, you'll realize that you can actually learn for free. I'm sure you've got free courses, you know.
And there's lots on the internet.
There's lots of them.
Yep.
And it is when you invest in yourself
Yes.
that then you are able to see these opportunities and then be able to exploit and grow.
Fabulous. That is great advice from an entrepreneur. We appreciate your time today, Sabelo. I had a great time talking to you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day at your annual conference. Good luck, by the way. Is it only today or tomorrow
It's
as
only
well?
today,
Only today,
but we've
one
got
day.
a list of events packed up for the year. We are going to be having our conference, which is our premium program.
Okay.
We will be traveling around the country, building our branches. So I'm quite excited about the work that we'll be doing this year, really trying to support our HR profession in terms of all the changes and the key priorities that they need to focus on, whether it's really them saying how do we help organization implement AI in our businesses, or how do we accelerate development for our people. So for me, I think I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I think if you look at CompTIA and you look at IPM, I'm sure that we could find ourselves working in future, because we are really about the same thing, advancing skills development.
So that concludes our chat with Sabelo. I think that was very inspiring, and I hope that all the individuals that are watching this video will follow the link to their page, see what they're all about, and see how you can become part of this, and hit him up for coaching you.
Yeah, I like the
Right?
hitting up.
Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you, my pleasure.